it can be shocking, especially, you know, for those of us who think that we have already passed that thing. I've already processed that thing. I've already done that thing. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. That's a reoccurring theme I have. I've had 4 or 5 conversations in the past 2 days with different people. And it's a reoccurring theme is I thought I dealt with that. I already dealt with that. Why is it coming back? Why? Because we hadn't dealt with it. That's why. You know, sometimes in our powering through and we think we're processing and dealt with it, we just pushed it down further. That's all. And it just take a little longer for that stuff, that shit that we have pushed way down in the stank part of the soul. Yeah. Yeah. That stuff take a while to come up. It takes a while to come up. So, you know, and you're right, Tamika, most things are multi-layered, not just some, most of them are multi-layered. So this is a beneficial healing time for us. We are pushing our way towards a new moon and a eclipse here in less than 48 hours. So this healing and the changes and the transformation and the uncomfortableness that's been going on for this past week is necessary for us to get clear and get free of all of the limitations, all of the old paradigm burdens, old limitations, that old story we used to tell ourselves, anything that held us back. Where you're going, that stuff is not acceptable. So
can I share something with that based on that?
Absolutely.
Based on exactly what you just said, like right now, I am finding it almost impossible to overlook things, sweep stuff under the rug, ignore stuff that was so easy at one point to do. Now I can't do it. It's like I can't bite my tongue anymore.
Absolutely. What used to
It's
be
uncomfortable too.
yeah, what used to be okay and cute and that's just them. Yeah, that shit ain't going no more. Yeah, the tolerance level is up to here. It's like no, no. If I hear this, if I see this one more time, yeah, that's where all of us are at. That you got one more time, one more time. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. You got one more time, dog. One more time. And you know, a lot of us, what we don't really want to admit, that our soul is telling our asses, you got one more time to doubt yourself. You got one more time to procrastinate. You got one more time to turn away from an opportunity that I present to you. You got one more time, dog. One more time. This is a time for all of us to jump forward. No falling back. No falling back. This is jump forward time. This is manifest with momentum time. This is reach up and grab a hold of your goals, desires, and active pursuits and put them into motion time. This is no time to be, oh my gosh, and to be lamenting and to be worried or anything like that. This is the time for action. This is the time for healing, releasing, and then forward progress, forward movement, upward, onward. So with that, I'm thankful and grateful for all that has been shared. I'm thankful and grateful for everybody that's here. We want to get into some more of the emotional self. I knew when I opened up this can of whoop ass that it was going to do this, just that. It was going to whoop ass. The emotional self is aligned with that heart chakra. The intent, the theme, the title surrounding the emotional self is emotional self-healing, forgiveness, and reactive response control. We have already covered that the emotional self is home to our ego, our anger, our self-worth, and attachments. And I have titled the emotional self the trauma center of the soul. So with that, we want to continue on down the road of the emotional self and the art of becoming less ego emotional. There's another one of those words I made up, ego and emotion. I just took emo out and put ego emotional. Um, and today's keyword, the topic of today, the keyword for today is reshape or reshaping. Any way you want to say it, reshape or reshaping your emotional slash ego foundation. So today we're going to talk about the reshaping of our emotional slash ego foundations. Number one, we went over it briefly last week. We went over the topic of recognizing uh, uh, some of our emotional triggers, and that was a very good conversation. But we want to drill down a little bit deeper today in reference to the emotional triggers. And today we want to start with identifying and removing our emotional triggers, baggage, and life drama. Parentheses, acknowledgement and detachment. So we're going to acknowledge, we have to acknowledge these triggers, and then we have to do the both the acknowledgement of the triggers and then detaching from them. Both of those are very hard. This is not easy. It's not easy to acknowledge an emotional trigger. Most of us don't even want to believe that we have any of them triggers on us. You start telling people about triggers and they get all bent out of shape. Emotional triggers are alive and well in each and every one of us. All of us have them. No matter how high up the ascension ladder you get, you still have them. You still have them. Now the more spiritual and the higher up the ladder you get, they may be covered. They may be deeply embedded in your soul. It may take a lot more to get to them. But trust me when I tell you that they're there. They will always be there. The triggers that I had as a little boy, I still have them today. Some of them are so far buried in the depths of my soul that can't be touched anymore. Doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means that they are I've evolved so far from them, from some of them, that they are just embedded deeply in the soul and they are protected from ever being touched again. Some are people specific, and that's what I want to get into. Specific external influences, people, and events that are our emotional triggers. Can anybody give me some external influences, people, or events that are a trigger for you? I used to be triggered by my former political affiliation. And the trigger came a long time ago because my former political affiliation was not the normal political affiliation for a lot of folks like me. I'm just going to say it like that. I'm not going to get real. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So because my former political affiliation was different than the rest of folks like me, I would get attacked. And before the attack even came, the trigger was activated. Whenever politics were discussed and I was in a group, when I heard the conversation even heading that way, the trigger was bam. And I was already on the defense. That's a specific external outside. That's a specific external influence. Politics and my beliefs versus someone else's beliefs used to be a trigger for me. I used to just dig in and, and go back and forth and about politics, about some shit that I can't even control. I can't control politics. I don't have any control over hell who they elect as dog catcher in Las Vegas. I don't have no control over that. I don't have any control over any policies that any politician does from the school crossing guard all the way up to the White House. I don't have any control over that. None. Some of the issues that are hotbed issues, they're triggers for us. Some of the external influences, some of the external events, they're a trigger for us. This is just my own belief. What I'm getting ready to tell you guys, this is just about me. It don't have to do with nobody else. I don't want to see no more videos of unarmed civilians being killed or murdered by the cops. I don't need to see another one. I know the story already. I'm not going to allow myself to get emotionally triggered by something that I can't control. I can't control police not murdering unarmed civilians. I can't control it no matter what I do. Pfeiffer's B Metatron cannot control that. So I'm not going to watch them no more. I'm not going to get on the threads about them. If I see one of the stories on the timeline, I'm going to scroll past it. Not that I don't care about that issue. That issue is a troubling issue. Anytime anyone is unarmed and fleeing from police and they get killed, that's troubling. I don't care what color they are. It's troubling. I can't do anything about it. Nothing, myself personally, nothing I can do. I'm going to stop. I have taken that trigger away by not even exposing myself to that. I don't expose myself to the media. None of the media. I don't. If it comes on, I'll switch because I can't control the news that they produce. I can't control the narrative that they purport and support. So for me, these are specific external influences, people and events. I used to get so bent out of shape. I told you guys about the teams I used to like and the professional teams, and I was the fan. And if they won, I'm celebrating like I'm on the team, and if they lost, I'm down in the dumps. And for what? For what? For what? Specific external influences are the reason why we have some of the emotional triggers we have. And I haven't even gotten into where a lot of our triggers come from. That's coming next. Anybody else got some examples of some external influences or external events that you get emotional about?
What about family?
They're next. They're next. They're next. Because family is what I call specific internal influences. Inner circle, immediate family, like the family you came from. Then secondary family, like the family you came from. Immediate family, spouse, kids, in-laws, all of that. Some of your neighbors are in that, inner circle, the people in your inner circle. It's a lot of mothers on this call. Your kids put some triggers, emotional triggers on you. They're the emotional triggers between you and your children, you and the spouse. We don't like that part. We don't like the part. We don't like admitting that, yeah, I love my kids, but they piss me off.
Mind you.
I'm sick of them. And I love you, but I'm sick of you.
Mine is.
You know, and sometimes it seems that the specific internal influences, the inner circle, the family, the spouse, the kids, we can even put coworkers in there, because coworkers are kind of like your inner circle, because you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family. Really, you do. Why is it that we allow those triggers with those internal circle people?
Hello.
Hi, Jolene.
Hi, how are you?
Very well today. How are you?
I'm going to see my house where it's gonna be built, so I'm gonna sit there again. It's just an exit away from my job, so I usually just go and be nosy and see what's up with that. But
you're not being nosy. That's your shit. You ain't being nosy. You're going to look at your stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to see what's up. But I was you're talking about external triggers, and
yes.
I've learned that so this is a good story, but it's a sad story. I was like 29 years old years ago, and I was pregnant, and I had this bitch of a supervisor. She knew I was having problems in my pregnancy, and I was young and I didn't have my voice like I have now. And she tormented me. That bitch tormented me, and that was my job. And I never had a problem with her prior, but I don't know, my pregnancy made her worse. And I lost, later on I lost my son. He was 4 months old, and to this day I said I will never allow someone to take my voice. And by the time I did, I lost my son, I went back to work, and I was done with her. I actually hanged up on her because I was done with her. And so it just teaches you that the body, the tolerance. You said something, one word, but if the ego. But yes. If you know your ego, you'll know your tolerance. Yep. And the tolerance is nothing be played with, because I know my tolerance well. And so, I had to learn the hard way to not lose my voice, and I learned that when I was 30, and I never want to lose my voice or having the stamina to express myself, and so it's important, I hope everybody believes in their voice, because that's their body talking. So believe your voice, and everything will become a little easier for you.
Absolutely. It is important. I've had some very cool bosses in corporate America, and I've had some idiots that I've worked for in corporate America. And when I stopped being the company man in my mindset, I stopped giving a fuck and stopped taking it personal at them jobs. Where I never ever thought I would ever be the guy that show up, do your job, go home and get the paycheck. That never was me, until I got to a point to where I figured out that corporate America don't give a shit about you. You just a billet. You just a billet in a chair. And you think we be in those jobs, and we believe that we are so important to the company, and the company can't make it without us, and yada yada yada. And the day after your funeral, they have a new person in your desk. Yeah. Day after you leave, they won't even wait till you're cold and gone. I've seen it happen to a guy. I worked at Hyundai Motor Finance Company in the middle 90s, in Fountain Valley, California, and a guy had a heart attack at his desk on a Thursday in his office, and Monday morning there was somebody else in that office.
Oh my God. Yep. Oh.
Specific internal influences. Do we have and I'm gonna get into this further in the next section, but do we have expectations for spouse? Do we have expectations for the kids? Do we have expectations for the immediate and the secondary family and the folks in the inner circle, that when they don't live up to that expectation, that's when that emotional trigger gets flicked?
Of course.
So, and we're gonna get to that expectation stuff in a minute. So, you see how some of our emotional triggers are self-inflicted?
Yep.
Yeah.
We put them there. We give them a name. We give them that name, that child's name, that job name, that supervisor's name. I had a supervisor I couldn't stand. I gave her power because my energy was, I can't stand this heifer. I wish he would just get hit by a bus. I'm serious.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm telling you, I believe it. I believe it. I
But
believe
it was, and every time I seen her, I would just be like, and if she called me in the office, I'd be like, oh my God.
But what
That was
about an emotional trigger? This is Vonda, excuse me.
Hi, Vonda.
Hi. You know, I don't know if it's an emotional trigger or it's just that, like I said, I've lived in Germany 25 years where people, I'm not gonna say they're better than anybody. I just said they have a different consciousness. I think they just live by the honor code or something. I don't know. And I
All
got
right.
back here and I have had some real situations now, but just thinking last night, I got a text from a guy, are you still awake? I just went to the casino and I won so-and-so amount. And, you know, it's about 20 after 10. Now, we have been knowing each other about 4 or 5 months. And I have said to him, because he's always calling, like I'll be somewhere and he'll say, well, what you doing? Because I'm going to go to the casino, come on. And he always do it. And I would say, let's go tomorrow. Let's go Thursday. I can go with you. I'm not a gambler, but I don't mind hanging out every once in a while with him. But he
Right.
goes about 6, 7 days a week. So to me, he really likes it. So last night when he did that, I just said, you know, I'm not even going to answer him because then I'll get into that with him. And then next thing you know, I'm getting in the bed much later than I had planned to get in. And so I decided I'm not going to be distracted by that.
Good.
So for me, like you said, this time is the time with this new moon coming in and the eclipse and all in Gemini, it's a time to really choose what works and what keeps us in a place of you know, our peace and our harmony. And not that everybody's perfect, we'll work it out.
Yep.
But if it's a constant thing, I just feel like, Vaughn, you've been back 4 years and you've been allowing a whole lot of stuff from people because you've been trying to get along. But now I'm just not willing to do it. And I think it's the eclipses and, you know, me just saying, you know, I just rather not do this anymore because I'm not used to it. So why should I continue to accept it? Not that I'm going to find people like the Germans, but eventually I will find people who will keep their word. Or if you call them and ask them, will they do something? And they will say, I can or I can't. They won't just leave you hanging. Don't get back to you. Don't write you back. Don't call you back. But when they need you, you always jumping. So these are things that I'm looking at about myself. Because I feel like, well, that's love, Vonda. Well, yeah, that's love. But still, there has to be some type of boundaries I have to look at in order to get a change that I feel that I need for my own peace and my own journey now.
Absolutely. 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 And you will see, Vanda, that things will begin to level out and you just stay focused and deliberate about only attracting those with equal energy as yours and equal vibration as yours, and with pure intent, and everything else will organically just start to manifest for you.
Perfect.
And yeah, you know, you like you say, you've been in another country for 25
Years,
years,
and I loved it.
and you picked a hell of a time to come back to America.
Oh
I'm just
my
gonna tell you that.
Didn't I?
Because
Didn't I?
America is in the midst of a transition and a
Mhm.
transformation,
Mhm.
and it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets any better.
And that's why I'm making the changes. That's why I said you just make the changes so that you can stay in peace. You're
That's right.
so correct.
You
Yeah.
make the changes in you,
Right.
and
Right.
hold on and allow the organic manifestation of what America is going to transform into. Allow it to take place and find your spot in that,
That's
and
right.
then be okay with that.
Thank you.
All right.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Quickly, I also want to cover, you know, there are other contributing factors to our emotional triggers, and they're all centered around our self-esteem and self-worth. You know, some of us got triggers in reference to our appearance and our looks.
Yes.
Hello, yeah, our appearance and our looks, and you know how the whole package is presented, and all of that, and you know, most of us, when we go out, we see folks that we know give zero fucks about their appearance and looks by the way that they go out and how they look,
Right.
you know. Also, another contributing factor to our emotional triggers is our status or lack thereof, our worldly or life status or lack thereof.
Yes.
And then finally, you know, the lifestyle choices. I like to call these our habits, hobbies, and hangups. You know, all of these go into the makings and the positionings and the intensity of the emotional triggers, baggage, and life drama that we all have in and through our lives. Now let's move on to quickly, because I didn't talk too much already. Let's move on to the art of emotional detachment. I know that sounds frightening to some folks. I talk about detachment with some people, and it's either frightening or they automatically come back with some sort of retort that is saying, well, you want me to be cold-blooded? No. Cold-hearted? No. You want me not to care? No, that's not it. That's not it at all. The art of emotional detachment deals with this: voice your expectations. See, the problem, a lot of our emotional triggers and a lot of our reactive responses is due to our disappointments. 98% of our disappointments come from expectations that we have for someone else, and they don't live up to them. 98% of those expectations we never tell the other person.
Right.
How the hell they
Right.
supposed to live up to something they don't know? You see how we set ourselves up for home emotional triggers? See how we set ourselves up for our own disappointments? We set ourselves up for the majority of the disappointments happening in our own lives by having silent expectations of someone else or something else, and never voicing it. So the art of emotional attachment, number one, voice your expectations. Give truth give volume to your expectations. No matter who it is, spouse, kids, boss, job, coworker, whatever it is, speak them. Don't just have them secretly in your mind or secretly in your heart. Put a voice to your expectations. And there's an and, takes a little bit more. This is a two-part step. Put voice to your expectations and detach from the expected outcome. So what I'm saying is speak your truth, tell that other person your expectations, and then stop expecting anything after that. Take your hands off of the outcome. Just because we expect something from someone else doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get it. It'd be real hard to get something that the other person doesn't know that you want. So if you're not voicing your expectations, you damn sure ain't gonna get hardly none of those. I have never gotten anything that I didn't voice for. Once, go ahead. Who's that? Who's somebody want to say something?
I was laughing because that's what I was just saying. I said, been knowing this guy about 4 or 5 months, and I have said to him so many times, you know, that doesn't work for me, or last minute things don't work for me, or blah, blah, you know, and I've said it
So-
many, many times, and he's totally ignored me. So that's why last night when he wrote them, I said, I'm not answering. I'm
So-
just done.
Okay, so Vanda, I'm glad you gave me the particulars about that. So
Yeah.
you have voiced your expectations numerous times, and he either can't understand English, can't understand how you're talking, or refuses to, correct?
Right. He says he forgets because he had 2 plates put in his head from when he had an accident one time.
Oh well, and is this someone that you are considering partnering with as a mate?
Not anymore.
Okay, then I want because he obviously he doesn't care what you say. He's not listening to. He won't even honor the fact that you don't want to be called after 10 or after a certain hour. He won't even honor that. So this is what I want you to do. When you go out tomorrow, stop by Big Five or Walmart or Kmart or any one of them little sporting goods stores. And when you walk in the door and they ask you, hi, is there anything you need help with? Tell them you want to get a referee's whistle.
Okay.
You know what the whistle is for, right?
No, I don't.
When he calls you tonight at 10 o'clock or after the time when you told him you don't want to be called, answer the phone and blow that whistle in that phone for about 30 seconds. I guarantee you he will get the point. If he doesn't, if he's hard-headed like some of us men are, hard-headed, he'll call back again. Blow it in there again. I guarantee you after the second time, he ain't gonna have no doubt what the real deal is.
Okay.
Because obviously when you are dealing with someone who disrespects what you have requested, there's only one way to do that.
Yes.
And that's a pivot. You have been nice. You've been nice by telling him over and over and over that you don't want to go out like that and you don't want to be called after a certain hour. And he has not honored any of them. So just blow that whistle in that cell phone. And if it don't bust his eardrum, it will bust that heart.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that.
Okay, well, you then just expect to keep getting phone calls then.
Okay.
I'm just saying, because he has already proven to you that it don't matter what you say.
Right. He sure has shown me that. You're right. I have to be honest with that.
So speak his language. I bet you he understands whistle in the phone. Guaranteed.
Okay. I'll get a whistle, then I'll see if I have the nerve to do it.
Okay, all right.
Thanks.
Trust me, I've given at least 3 people the whistle effect, and it works. Trust me, it works. I haven't heard from them 3 people ever again. And that's what I wanted.
Okay.
That's exactly what I wanted. Number two. This is my favorite one right here, you guys.
Okay.
The art of emotional detachment. Number two, hold
Number two.
everyone,
This is my favorite one, right?
including yourself, first yourself, but hold everyone accountable for owning their own shit. I can't fix anything for my daughter. Love my daughter. Care about my daughter. She's number one. She's the number one child of mine. Love her to the moon and back. I can't fix anything. If she calls and I can give her a reading, I can tell her what the cards say, I can tell her what the chart says, you know, I can give fatherly advice. But if I don't tell her to own her shit, then all she's gonna do is just dump it on to me. You guys understand what I mean? So I make sure that she owns her shit before we get into a conversation. Doesn't mean I don't care. Doesn't mean I don't love her. I love her. I do, and I care. But we have to you have to own your shit, right? Everybody on this call, do we all own our own shit? Or do we sweep it up under that rug that's high, that's got a big ass mountain now?
No,
It
I
ain't
accept
even,
my responsibilities. I do.
Um,
I know when I've done something, I say, just accept it, Vaughn. You know,
so
bite
why,
the bullet.
so why do we allow everybody else in our lives not to?
Can I answer that one?
Absolutely.
We do it because we unintentionally do it ourselves and we don't pay attention to the ones. We say that we honor ourselves and we're accountable for ourselves. We're accountable for what we consciously catch, but we are not accountable for what we unconsciously catch and don't even realize that we're doing something unconsciously. So because of our lack of self-awareness, we can't be that aware of everybody else. And when other people are irritating you for something they do, I guarantee you that's your unconscious habit that you do. And the only reason why you're catching it in the other person is because it exists in you. So you can't catch something. You're not going to catch something and irritate you. It's almost like a spiritual warning sign, like when your engine light pops on, your spirit is basically kind of nudging you, telling you, hey, you need to pay attention to this, because if you're gossiping about something or something on the outside of you is irritating you, ask yourself, why is it irritating you? Pay more attention to yourself, and I guarantee you, you're going to find out, you're going to catch yourself actually doing it yourself.
Absolutely.
Can I hit one more thing? Because I was actually listening to y'all. I'm actually kind of working at the same time,
Sure.
so I couldn't pop in. But I think it was Vonda was talking about the guy, and you were telling her to blow the whistle in the phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Vonda, let me say this like this, because I heard what you were saying, and I heard how you were saying it. So you still have some hesitation in there. Let me see if this will help clear it up. Basically, what Pythias is saying is, people do things. What he does when he says that, well, I have these plates in my head, he's created one of them dumbass habits that I call a dumbass habit. So you give yourself an excuse for not doing something or falling short of being better than who you are. And then you lean so much on the excuse, it just becomes a habit to say that and a habit to just do it. Now, he probably just forgot and did some dumb shit like we all do at times. You did some dumb shit, you forgot, and then you thought about it later and was like, oh shit, I was supposed to call her. Oh damn, I didn't call her. Or he felt some type of way and started thinking about you at 10 o'clock at night. So his mind was so caught up in what his emotion was. It was an emotional response. He was so caught up in the emotion of wanting to say something to you because he was thinking about you. So when he called you, he wasn't realizing what time it actually was, but he was so caught up in the thought of you that the time didn't cross his mind. So what Pythias is basically saying is, okay, he has this habit. He probably has a habit of doing that to everybody. He's created this habit, right? When you're blowing the whistle, what you're doing is you're telling his neurons in his brain, even if he doesn't understand it or catch it, his neurons in his brain are going to catch it. And because of the sound and the noise of the sound at the decibels that it's at, you're getting the attention in the neurons. What you're then telling them is, don't call me. And then you're giving the action, you're giving the rule, you're writing your contract per se to say, don't call me. So immediately after the whistle, you don't want to go into no whole spiel. Women get into this. And now that you've answered it, now you want to sit here and run your mouth and sit up there and complain about every damn thing that irritates you. No, stick to the point. That's where you mess up the training, basically. So when you blow the whistle and then you say, don't call me at this time at night, you're telling his brain to make sure he starts checking the time. You're training his brain. And then after you create the behavior, after the trigger that you created right now his behavior is going to be your following words of why you blew the whistle. Now it's connected to the whistle as the trigger. So then you're telling him how to behave. And what you do is get the result, which is the last part of a habit. The result is what you require him to do for you. So basically what he's also saying in another part is, if he means enough to you, don't discount him on this one thing. You can correct it if you want to, because then women do, well, this he ain't right and he ain't right and he ain't right. Is it something that's even correctable? Are you even trying to see if it's something that you guys could work out? Because if he's a good guy, then it's not the fault of there's not enough good men out there. It's the fault of you not seeing if he's that right guy for you by creating the situation that you want. And if this, when you don't get mad at your child and tell your child when he's 2-3 years old, forget you, I'm a disown you and I'm gonna throw you away because you're not listening to me. And you know damn well them damn kids don't fucking listen. So what you do is then you start training your kids by getting that belt and whooping that ass. And when you whoop that ass, eventually the little motherfucker stop because the shit hurt. So that's what you're doing to his brain. You're whooping his brain. You're disciplining his brain like you do the 3-year-old. Like well, they always say, spiritually, you start as a child first. We're all babies spiritually. So you got to understand, if we're a child and a toddler spiritually, our human self is below that. So damn, you just dumb as shit.
Right.
So, but are you teachable? We all have an ignorance and a stupidity. We all dumb as fuck, like all of us. I mean, just if you admit that first to yourself, you would understand on the outside world why a lot of people do a lot of dumb shit, but then it'll stop pissing you off. So now you're being more in control of your energy in your day, and you have more happy days because you haven't gone around allowing all these other people to piss you off. You're doing that. That's not on them. That's on you. Either you can remove yourself from a situation that you know you can't control, like if it's something out in public, at a grocery store, on the street, we get it. If it's something as close as your personal life, if it's not a teachable moment to make the situation work for your good, because sometimes we don't just, like they said, the good man ain't gonna come and ring your doorbell and he gonna say, here I am, baby, I'm everything you want. I got the house, the car, the money. You don't have to do nothing you don't want to do, right? We that's what we're looking for, realistically. But you got to understand that a lot of those packages are wrapped, and you got to take the time to unwrap the damn package. You two don't know each other. You don't know shit about each other. You have to learn each other. You're gonna go through some situations of learning each other. It's up to you and your discernment if the situation is worth going through the process of trying to teach something. You don't want to give up all your energy trying to teach people all your life, because I've been through it. Trust me, I'm telling you right now, the shit don't work. Take the time to just try to see if he's teachable, and if he's not, then let him go, because then, right, he really is just that dude that just don't give a shit.
Right, and I'm clear with you. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you're right. And I already know that he's just not for me. I mean, first of all, he's a gambler. He has to go to the casino 6 or 7 times a week. So I already know that's not for me.
Basically, he pulled his last straw with you.
Absolutely.
That's it. That was it. He goes to New York. Me and my sisters been gambling for the next 4 days. And and it's just too much for me. I just rather pull back and be a buddy. But now I got
That's right.
how we could go out sometime and you know, or something like that. And I don't mind having him around. He's not a bad guy, but he's just nobody for me. My life is, you know, I live it in this secret place. And I just don't like a lot of foolishness because I'm not used to it being away in Germany 25 years. I was able to really get with Vonda, and and the people there were different. So I'm just not willing to accept anything. I'm
And
really
you don't have to, but that's basically what I'm saying is you write your contract, right? Then you make it understood what you are willing to give up, your time, what kind of time of mine I'm willing to give up. But I'm not willing to give you energy like a relationship, but I'm gonna give you some energy like a little, you know, distant homeboy. But those are the contracts we write. But we write those along the way as far as still teaching and learning what kind of contract am I going to write with you? You know, do I have to, you know, dump you down from, okay, now you're starting to irritate me. I'm trying to teach you, you're not getting it. So now I'm getting ready to dump you down to associate. If I decide to call you that day, I'll call you. You know what I'm saying? We write our contract, but we have to be true to self first.
Absolutely.
We have to see ourselves first. We have to see ourselves in them first through their mistakes, and then check ourselves to see if that applies to us. Not saying it does, but it is awareness to say, hey, let me check myself. That's how you allow your outside world to check you to make sure you become a better person all the time and you build and go forward.
Yes, you're right. And I've done that. That's why I'm at the place I'm at with it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, appreciate it, Desiree.
Very good. Thank you,
Both of them.
Desiree. Much
Thank you.
appreciated. And then finally, the art of emotional detachment. Release the need to control anything. I probably could change that word to everything outside of yourself. Because when you look at it, the only thing you got control over is you. Anything outside of you, you can't control it. So detach from controlling it. Detach from you're gonna mold this into this, and I'm gonna shape this, and I'm gonna finagle. Finagle was the word that was used in my little hometown. I'm gonna finagle it or finesse it. No. Take your hands off. If it's not you, take your hands off of it. Let it happen. Most of the time, it happens anyway. All the time, it happens. And then if it doesn't happen the way that we expect it, then there's a disappointment and the emotional trigger. Here we go. Control yourself. Be concerned and be deliberate about your own stuff. And let others be deliberate and concerned about their stuff.
That's right.
Detach from other people's stuff, other people's lives, detach from their relationships, detach from how they're living. Because I'm a believer in this. If anybody is living in conditions that they don't like, then they'll change them. And who am I to say that your living conditions are substandard? Who am I to say anything about what anybody else is doing in and through and for their own selves and lives? I don't have nothing to say. And if you want to drive, if I tell you that you might want to turn around because there's a cliff about a mile away and you're going to roll right over the top of it and crash. If I tell you that and you keep going, I got to release the control. What can I do? What can I do? Nothing. So we need to really start there. Start by voicing our expectations and detaching from outcomes. Start by And Desiree, you're right. Start by, recognizing and owning your own shit, and then release the need to control anything outside of you.
I always said I raised my child already. I don't need to raise another man, woman, whoever. I don't. Not even I'm a social worker. I tell my clients, I'm a social worker and therapist, and I tell my clients, I don't even want the responsibility to change you. I'm just showing you the options. That's all. That's all I'm here to do. That's
Absolutely.
it. And then earlier, I wanted to just share, if your positive affirmations doesn't match the situation, that's a way to really identify what's going on. If you say positive affirmation about yourself. If you don't, that's the issue too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anybody have any closing thoughts, closing remarks on this subject today? It was very good. I'm grateful for everybody here. Grateful for all of the participation. Anybody want to share something before we close? No. Well, okay. Well, great. Well, again, this has been On the Seventh with Pipers Be Metatron. I'm thankful and grateful for everyone. I want to leave us with one final thought. The best part of transformational change becomes apparent afterwards. Be good to yourselves. Be good to all those that are good to you. Get yourself ready for the new moon. We will be back on the new moon. So check your local listings. I always want to say that too. Be mindful, be watching the emails, and I'll let you guys know what time we're going to be on for Thursday. Again, I thank every one of y'all that is here, and I will look forward to speaking to you guys all on Thursday. Goodbye.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on here about 3 weeks ago, and this girl, she moved in
I
from
passed the
England.
number. I passed her the number. I will reach out to her and let her know that you're expecting her to call.
Thank you, because I was wondering about that too.
Absolutely. I will do that.
Okay, thank you.
All righty.
All right.
All righty. Thank you guys for all showing up, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great evening.